Welcome, Agile friends, to this keynote of the Agile Online Summit 2023. My name is Vasco Duarte, and I'm hosting this session with our amazing speaker, Bob Payne. Hey, Bob, welcome to the Agile Online Summit 2023.
Hey, Vasco. Yeah, I'm glad to be here, and I hope everybody has a great summit. I will join you a bit throughout the summit as well.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that. So for those of you who don't know Bob yet, and I guess many of you already know, Bob's work has been a great influence on me and many others in the community, Agile community that is. I first came across Bob via the Agile Toolkit podcast, which I religiously listened to every episode way back when in the beginning of my Agile journey. But Bob's done other things as well. He's the founder of Agile DC Conference. For those of you who are in the US capital area, that's something to put on your schedule for sure. And Bob's also got a day job. He's worked exclusively as a lean Agile transformation leader since 1999, and is currently the SVP of Agile training and coaching at Lightspeed, a consultancy in the US. Bob, is there something you would like to highlight for our listeners that informs them about where do you come from as we start this keynote?
Sure. I'm not sure which are the sort of highest influences, but my parents had a restaurant. And so one of the things that you learn in the restaurant business, especially with a little family restaurant, is teams working together and sharing workload. So I think that's one of the critical ideas that is in Agile and many other methods, this idea of functioning as a team. And I have a background in computer architectures for artificial intelligence. But when I was doing that, I was very interested in this idea of complex adaptive systems and the interactions of agents. And that really has informed a lot of my thinking. I went for years as a programmer and then architect and then project manager. And at the time, we were very focused on sort of linear plan the work the plan. And I'd sort of forgotten all of the lessons from complex adaptive systems.
And the restaurant business.
And the restaurant business. And that is what you want to do is create goals, some level of constraints. And then you are hoping, especially in complex adaptive systems, that there is an emergent property of the system that moves it towards some sort of benefit. So for example, how do you feed New York or Paris or Los Angeles? And we sort of intuitively know that it's not this idea of a central plan that says how many chickens at what store. It is an emergent property with constraints. We don't have quite the supply problem that we did in the pandemic, but it is local decisions with constraints on the system that allow that system to optimize. So those are two areas where I think once I was able to reintroduce those ideas into my understanding and still growing understanding of Agile and lean methods, that's when a light bulb went off for me.
And we will hear more about that light bulb in a second. Before we do go,
Sure.
We'll talk about the history of Agile in this session with Bob, but there are also other sessions at the Agile Online Summit that might be of interest. For example, Pia Maria Thoren is going to talk to us about Agile in HR and Agile HR, how to help HR organizations, and also how to help organizations look at HR in a way that enables Agile.
Great.
So check out the other sessions at agileonlinesummit.com. But now back to Bob.
Yeah, I met Pia Maria at the Business Agility Conference and actually recorded a podcast with her. So she's a great speaker, great person, and I'm sure that'll be a great keynote. So please pay attention to that as well.
Absolutely. And check
Yeah.
out Bob's podcast with all of those, so many interviews that are, I'm pretty sure,